Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, welcome to the 100% Humboldt podcast show in Humboldt County, featuring my new best friend, my new best old friend, Jose Quesada. Hey, Jose. How you doing?
Hey, Scott. I've known you since last century. It's good to see you this century. Since last millennium.
Did I have hair then?
Did you have hair then?
Yeah, I had long hair, right?
Yeah, oh, heck yeah, you had hair.
I was 19.
You were a kid.
I was an Adonis of beauty.
You were a kid. You were a leader. You were taking care of kids in a recreation program. And what I liked about you is that you were the quiet, competent leader, which is what kids really, you weren't the loud, look at me, follow me because I'm loud and stuff. You were always been quiet, kind of quiet. The quiet guy, really good counselor. You were one of the older counselors, so definitely one of the leaders in that regard. But you knew how to handle it. I remember well, Camp Kim 2 in Willow Creek.
How many times have we been to Camp Kim 2 in Willow Creek? Willow Creek, by the way, so I can use my prop right out of the gate, is right up. See where that 299 goes east? I could see Camp Kim 2 from here.
Camp Kim 2 was really the birth of a lot of kids' dreams. I tell you, we used to take kids from 14 to 21 years of age, and we would be out there for a week with them, and we would talk about finding yourself, finding your interests, finding out about the world. You know, we're not going to be your parents, but we're just going to tell you what it's like, and it was a good opportunity.
I look back and I agree with that. So, Jose, you're the masterful photographer of the Eureka Times Standard newspaper. But before we go there's a lot to say. You know, AI really thinks you're something.
Well, I'm not sure what AI is saying, but one clarification that I want AI to know is that I'm freelance.
You're freelance.
I sell my photographs to the Ferndale Enterprise. I've sold to the North Coast Journal. If you Google Jose Quesada, New York Times, you'll see some of my work there. More, a lot of interviews that I did for them, and they included in the story. So I'm freelance.
Loco too?
Local? I am crazy. I am.
Are you loco too?
Boy? Yeah.
No, Los Coast Outpost. Good one. See what he did with that? So let's set the stage for the recreation program. So Humboldt Rec program, located in Humboldt County, started in the late 70s, probably early 80s.
That's right. That's when there was CETA money, Comprehensive Employment Training Act monies that were coming into Humboldt County.
State of California.
No, these were federal monies.
Oh, that was Fed.
Oh, yeah, totally federal monies.
It Jimmy Carter years? Probably.
No, 1979,
8.
Geez.
Whoever I think that's.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, it probably was Jimmy Carter.
So that was federal money.
Now that I think about it, it was federal money. Before the predecessor for the youth programs was called NOVA, N-O-V-A, and that was definitely probably late 60s or so. But the CETA, the program, helped adults that helped youth. Indeed, some of the youth that were part of our program are business owners now, have been employed with the county for decades, and are contributing members. You know, that was when we were able to invest in youth. That's when we were able to say, look, this is what a job means. Going to work from this time to this time means you get this kind of a paycheck. And you were one of the people that we depended on to be able to communicate with the kids. We were the older counselors and stuff, but we hired people like you, our aides, to be able to, our program aides, to be able to work with these younger kids and stuff. And it's really, that's the way you learn, you know?
Sure. Key role. I remember a lot of good memories. Gosh, Camp Kim 2, don't eat the stew at Camp Kim 2. We had T-shirts. Greg
Devaney. Rest in peace, Greg Devaney.
You're
one of the salt of the earth.
Peter Shepard.
Yeah, Pete Shepard. He was instrumental at the beginning. Humboldt Recreation Programs was a network of about 24 different recreation programs.
Way out in the middle of nowhere.
Everywhere.
Manila.
Everywhere from Alder Point to Shelter Cove to Redway, Garberville, Wichipec, Pequon,
right,
Oric, everywhere, and everything in between. But what they had in common is that they had funding. They had funding to be able to have the community organizers in those particular communities come together and say, look, we got monies for recreation programs. Pete Shepard was key in being able to get a lot of that going through the Manila West Haven Parent Council,
Right.
and Sue Williams.
And John Woolley, right?
And John Woolley, absolutely.
Been on the show.
Yeah, that's right. And Kim Montgomery was part of that scene as well. And it was a really good thing because they were able to also start for the first time the summer lunch program. So here we have kids and we have food. And we don't have any kind of eligibility. You come up and you have fun. You come up and you eat.
That's right.
And neighbors would come in together. The kids would all know each other. And it was real community building without knowing that it was community building. And it's something that has gone on. We've had some recreation programs that have gone on, some organizations, some businesses that have gone on from those days that acted as kind of a seed. I mean, that was a few decades ago.
Yeah. And I remember they would bring in rafting trip. We do a rafting trip. I mean, expensive stuff for broke kids that live in nowhere, Humboldt. And how to conceive of that now would be tough.
Yeah. Actually, most of our kids did canoes, that's for sure. Although there were a few rafting trips that were put together. But when we went to camp, it was a lot of kids that really didn't get an opportunity to get out of their neighborhood would have an opportunity to get into a canoe, to be able to learn some water safety. We'd have lifeguards like Paul Genge, I remember, that would spend a lot of time. Oh, gosh.
Is he still around?
Oh, yeah. Paul Genge, absolutely still around.
Curly hair?
Yeah, still has his curly hair.
He probably has this hairstyle. Paul, gosh, you're remembering people that I've forgotten.
Oh, gosh.
And then Steve Robel.
Oh, Steve Robel. Oh, my gosh. What was his name?
Cafis.
What a leader. He was one of the most unique and odd leaders I've ever worked for.
Whatever became of him?
I don't know. I imagine he is still bright. I still imagine him being involved with things, and the guy was pretty amazing. But Rick Littlefield was a leader back then with our program, and
hey, Ricky, running ENF now, 2 stores.
Oh, yep.
What a guy!
Yeah,
I mean, he's an example of your example, stellar example. Besides me. That he was an adult leader at the time.
No, he was no. He was my boss.
Oh, he was your boss.
Oh, yeah, he was.
I didn't know that.
My boss. He had doubts about hiring me.
Yeah. Well, he's doing.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame him. I helped start the first Head Start program.
That's right, huh?
And Annie Bolick was in Crescent City, and I was with Susie Warburg, and we helped start stuff here in McKinley. The first Head Starts in Humboldt County. And
now it's big, right? Pretty big program.
Head Start has expanded into so many different communities. Kathy Montaigne, who recently passed about 2.5 months ago, was an architect in getting Head Start to really to spread out and stuff. And I brought it up because I was moving from Head Start to go work in workforce development, work in summer programs, and Rick didn't know if I would have the transferable skills and stuff. But
sure.
But it worked out well.
Hey, we made it to the studio today.
Well, we made it to the studio today, and along the way I stayed with workforce development. I stayed with the county from workforce development and then went into economic development for almost 30 years.
With Rodney? Was he part of that?
Oh, no, Rodney was, I used to say, yes, Rodney was one of our vocational
Rodney
counselors.
Johnson, right?
Rodney Johnson.
Yeah.
Good man. He was one of our vocational counselors. Oh, so many good people. Ron Halverson was one of our good guys. A lot of good people. We had to switch the channel a little bit. We had a 50-year reunion with soccer.
Oh, is that right?
So I started one of the first co-ed soccer teams in Humboldt County. And to get back to Pete Shepard was also key in getting soccer going in Humboldt County.
The camps in the summer, right?
He did. He started the first soccer camps, and now you got athletic camps all over the place.
Is he still around?
Pete Shepard was honored at a reunion that we
Nice.
had just about a month ago.
Gosh, I got to look him up. I haven't seen him in.
Yep, Pete Shepard. He's 80 years old and still the same Pete. Still kind of a silly guy. Still bright. Still will make you laugh, guaranteed.
What's up, Petey boy?
Petey boy.
And he had Greg Devaney together. Just like he called him Veins. Veins. What's up, Veins?
Greg Devaney and
Those
Pete
two.
Shepard, man, they brought magic. They brought magic to a camp.
What a pair!
Yeah, you know what? To this day, I can honestly say that it's almost a miracle that we did not lose any child.
Well, I was going to offer my story because I almost did. I almost lost 2. So
So
my first job was up in Trinidad, and I was actually it was a second job. I was a rec leader out in Blue Lake with Pete Folks. Remember Peter?
Oh yeah.
And that was an experience. So summer rec is perfect for a recreation major. My kids go, "What'd you major at?" Humboldt. Well, recreation. What's that, Dad? Recess? I go, yeah, pretty much. It's community building. I like that better. So first summer in Blue Lake, second summer, you get a job in Trinidad as the rec leader, as a supervisor. And don't you know, I had not one but 2 accidents. One was a mop bucket, the reclining mop arm came up and broke a girl's tooth out. Oh, shit. And then, those fold-in cafeteria tables that go in the wall? They go back into the wall, but they can fall.
Yeah, they have wheels.
Sometimes they can fall backwards on kids. And how would I know that? Well, I pretty much wanted the world to fall on me after that. I thought, my career rec is over. I've injured 2 kids. And what they found out, and Pete, I'll correct, maybe I'll call Wally on this, is the program didn't have proper insurance liability. And as a State Farm guy now, I go, that's anathema. There was no coverage.
But it's interesting that you should.
And then they got it.
Well, but those were also the days. Do you remember the McMartin preschool?
Yeah.
McMartin preschool, where these people, the teachers were accused of doing horrible things with kids, et cetera, et cetera. It should be noted, they were, years later, they were vindicated. But anyways, to get back to that, I distinctly remember running the Manila Recreation Program. And when that happened, the very next summer, something was born. It was called liability insurance. It did not exist.
That's a great point.
It did not exist before that. And now every program, you have an event, you need to have now that liability insurance was based on that McMartin, but it was just beginning. So the days that you're talking about, I'm not sure if it was like people were doing it, but it was still. But it is interesting because I did not know. They must have had it through Manila West Haven Parent Council.
Eventually, I think they got it, if they didn't. But I remember it just being scared to death, going, I'm going to lose my job and my career. It's over here, baby.
Anyway, anyone who happens to be hearing this, if you happen to be young or any age, we take ourselves too seriously. And by that, I don't mean that to be insulting. I mean that oftentimes we judge ourselves and guilt comes in and it's horrible. And the reality of it is that it's either understandable or no one even paid attention.
Fear, shame, and guilt. The 3 killers.
And
that's true.
One thing I've always liked about you, Scott, is that you're very positive. Always very positive.
Thanks,
you will bend over backwards to be positive. I'm going, what will fluff this guy up? Nothing.
Fluff.
And
trust me.
And you're a human being. I know. Yeah,
sure.
I know that you're a human being. But that spirit, and I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but that's the spirit that we really all need to have. Is more of an acceptance of each other, and this judgments and making. Fear is a motivator. People not knowing about other people. That is what is freaking people out,
It's true.
I won't get political, but fear is unfortunately something on both sides that is just, it's dividing us.
and the war begins again and again and again. Yeah, sad. And I wish I had answers with you and for you
Well,
and for me.
the best thing that we can do, it sounds like this is more of a glorification of you, but it's your spirit that I think that we need to adopt more.
Hmm.
And that spirit is, and I need to work on this really badly. I need to work on not being so judgmental.
You really
On
do.
not being so reactive.
Yeah.
I'm not-
You got to do something.
It just shutting my doggone mouth and just, I don't have to say something. What's the term? It's better to be pleasant than it is to be right.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. And you're right. I think what possesses us to go, you just coughed out a big thing of stupid at my dinner table. Well, I got to call that out. Something possesses this old guy to go, hey, and I've really had to bite my tongue, shut your pie hole.
That's called grace.
And just have grace.
That's called grace. And grace is, you're not born with grace. Grace is a construct of our mind. It's just something we decide to do. Yeah, we might have a productivity to be more graceful with our nature, but it's something that we learn, I believe, and it's something that we decide to do.
Well, hopefully when you receive enough, you give enough.
Well,
and when you know how many people have tolerated your butt for your whole lifetime, you better step up, buddy. I'm looking in the camera.
Yeah. Well,
looking at all of us going, it's time to kick down some grace.
My heart goes to those children that for the millions of reasons did not have that opportunity to learn love, to learn grace. They had more things as a priority, like eating, like shelter, like,
survival,
protecting yourself. And it's like, I think, Scott, that we need to care more about the world that we don't see, about the world that we don't live in, the world we don't experience. We need to care more.
Good word.
About these kids that, one thing that I learned when I was working with the county, we're studying the workforce, we're studying the economy, but most homeless people were at one time in the system.
Somebody's kid.
Somebody's foster kid.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's a hope. That's a generalization, but statistics have been holding it out. A large have never had that opportunity to learn, to be literate, to be socially literate, and to be understanding. But now I'm getting on my soapbox.
Okay.
I learned that all from my camera. I tell you. Being able to capture Humboldt County, I am the luckiest man in the world.
You are, and you're going to capture some here in a minute as I take a quick break to say, if you're just joining us, or even if you're not, this is my old new best friend, Jose Quesada, and he's really didacting on his heart toward kids, which is magnificent and beautiful. And my son and I were talking about this. He has an addict friend who's come through drug deals and crazy background and crazy parenting, and he's making a life for himself, and he's cool, and he's bucking the odds. And then we know other people of privilege and great love who are total jerks, who are not running the football up the field, and it's a paradox. So Micah and I, my 20-year-old, were talking about this, who's pretty brilliant. Hey, Micah. And I said, there's a paradox here that the humankind can overcome crazy odds and can take a loss out of the jaws of victory pretty easily too. And it's kind of who we are. I mean, I don't know your background. I'm guessing similar to me. Southern California. My mom raised me out of nothing, and she made $100 a week, and I always had enough, and I was never in trouble with the law. So there were social gaps in my head and upbringing, but not that I'm amazing, but I had enough coaches and love in my life, even albeit late at 17, 18, 19 in the rec programs and mentors who were lovely and modeled and didn't have to correct me, but gave me grace, but modeled by the beauty of their actions and their lives and their words, who maybe I could be. And maybe I could be that quiet leader that I remember my first leadership move. And then I want to talk about you. I'm done talking about me. Let's talk about you. It was Patrick's Point. There were 5 million children, and it was a shit show. They were crazy. They were yelling, and it was out of control. And I got up, and I stood up on the table. I've never stood up in this podcast before. I'm still not. And I stood up, and I stood on the table, and I started doing my mime routine that I learned at Humboldt. Have you seen me do this? It's amazing. I'm so good at it. Anyway, my kids still laugh, and it stopped the room.
You bet.
Nobody, and it was outdoors, and all the cacophony stopped. And I said, "Listen," and whatever the announcement was, get in line, go eat dinner, whatever we were doing. Who knows? But I go, I'm gonna step up, and I stepped up, and it was okay. And it took a risk.
I tell you, it's that pushing that line. It's like,
and there's guys like you that coached that without knowing it, Pete and Greg, and hey, we're not going to do it. Why don't one of you peer counselors move off? Yes,
that's what it was. The peer counselors. That's what it was.
We were peer counselors. I remember now.
Right.
So
right.
Tell us about your journey. Where are you from? Where'd you go to school? Who are you and what do you want?
I was, my mom was 7 months pregnant with me when she arrived from Guatemala.
Wow.
My 2 older brothers were born in Guatemala. And my dad had been here 6 months before. So she flew in to L.A., and I was born at L.A. General Hospital. I'm the first gringo of the family, I like to say.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And then subsequently, I mean, I've got 3 brothers and 2 sisters, and we all lived in San Gabriel, Rosemead, and went to Catholic school.
Nice.
Went to Catholic high school and went to Catholic college for a year.
What's cool?
I went to St. Anthony's Grammar School. I went to San Gabriel Mission High School. That's where Zorro used to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to had a scholarship to St. Mary's, a 4-year scholarship to St. Mary's College
in LA,
in Moraga, in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
I only lasted a semester. I was only 17 years old. I was way too young.
Yeah.
I used to be student body president of my high school, and I got decent grades, and I was an okay athlete. So I had a scholarship, but I tell you, at 17, not ready. And so at St. Mary's at that time, I tell you, it was a all boys school, and that was the first year that they let women in. Huh. So there was 100 women and 900 men, and it was horrible. It made it even horrible.
That's pretty rough.
So I ended up hitchhiking across the country for the next year and a half, and ended up in Humboldt County at age 19.
So the rest of the education was on the road until...
A lot of education.
Yeah.
I learned how to build a log cabin in Pennsylvania, lived on a commune, and learned about gardening and stuff, and hitchhiked into Humboldt County, and it was a rainy night. And I remember spending my first night on the bench of at College of the Redwoods, brand new community college.
Yeah.
And ironically, about 40 years later, ended up doing a class there for the late,
St. Clair Adams? Oh, the other guy. Was he at Adams, though? He taught...
No, he was a broadcaster. Gosh, why am I just forgetting his name? I'm embarrassed. I can't remember his name.
We'll think of it in a minute.
But I ended up doing a class at that same bench right in front. I'm going like, oh, cool. I've come a long ways in 40 years.
Full circle.
Yeah, talking about class, talking to kids about, don't get hung up on I'm not qualified for this or I'm not qualified for that. You're more qualified than you think you are. Transferable skills. I enjoy talking about that. But anyways, Ended up going to College of the Redwoods, ended up going to Humboldt State University, where I took home economics classes. Now, that's what they called, that's where you would take
Sure.
early childhood education classes.
Right.
But they were under home economics. So, of course, the ratio was wonderful for
Right.
me, 20 to 1. but with Susie Warburg, we ended up opening up the first Head Start preschool, and I stayed
Remember her?
in early childhood education for about 5 years, and then I went into workforce development and became a summer counselor.
Right.
And then I became a supervisor of summer counselors, and then started working for workforce development programs, and then auditing them and managing projects and with the economic development, and kept that going.
Was that when you were above the time standard in the old time standard building?
Yeah, that's where I met my wife, Heather Shelton.
Hey, Heather.
She's a lot younger than I am. She was one of those young reporters. I was
Really?
going, holy moly, is she cute?
That's okay.
Yeah, I was going like, oh yeah, but I was a gentleman. I offered to buy her breakfast once because she told me she had a Snickers bar.
Oh.
As her breakfast, and that was my opening line. Is that your breakfast? And she went, yeah.
Can I buy you some food?
Yeah. Anyways, long story short, stayed with the county. Really happy to stay with the county. I can go, there's so many stories with the county, but I left the county because of my health. I developed diabetes, and it was like falling asleep at work. And you're like, what is going on with my body?
Why am I doing that? Yeah.
Those of you out there that are feeling really tired, really thirsty, go to the doctor. So I was able to catch it, and I just quit. Too much stress. But I was able to lose 45 pounds.
Yeah.
Started a music business with Heather. We've been doing music with babies for 16 years.
Kind of know that. What, do you guys cut albums or?
No. We do music classes.
For babies.
We have with babies. And from our youngest has been 10 weeks old. And most of our 10 weeks to about 3 years of age, but the parents bring their children. And we don't even advertise. It's just word of mouth, but we fill up our classes with 15 families.
So the kids can't get there on their own, like get crawled to your studio?
Some kids actually come in their strollers and stuff.
I pushed it myself.
Yeah, so we do our classes in Bayside, so some parents live out there, so they love to do that. But no, I'll tell you, that is, music with children has been probably for me the thing that in some ways has saved my life mentally. That's for sure. I used to be pretty depressed because I was so stressed with work. Deadlines, state reports, federal reports, in-kind matches, auditing.
Tripping on all the things.
And you want to do a good job, and I'm happy that I did a good job. But now I'm doing my photography, doing music with babies, and hanging out now with the community again.
I like it. Yeah, no, you're pretty relaxed. I think you speak a dialogue that I'll identify, and you'll know as soon as I do. There's a dialogue. I'll tell you. I'll describe it in a story. We're driving home from church one Sunday. I go, Joni, what do you think my spiritual gifts are? I'm amazing. Can I preach? I can lead worship. I'm a guitar guy. She goes, not really. And I go, huh? She goes, you're really good with kids, and you're really good with young adults specifically. And your dad was really good in that way. And I go, well, I have 9 kids, but I hate kids. I don't even like kids. And I was being a little silly, but not much.
I hope people are listening. He said he has 9 children. I've always known this for many years about Scott. Talk about a giving couple. You and Joni, 9 children. How old is your oldest?
He's 41 up in Medford.
Don't say that because you're bumming me.
Because I'm only 29 inside.
He's 41. How old is your youngest?
He's 20. He'll be 21. Can't wait for it.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, it's
good for
pretty rad. Only child, man. My mom raised me in San Diego. And the hood, which was kind of a new hood. The projects were new. All projects were new at one time. And now it's pretty hoodie, but when we were there, it's like, this is life. It's $100 a month. And mom works hard, and we go to the beach and party. because that's San Diego when you're 12 to 18. It was amazing. Really fun time to live down there. It wasn't like LA, no smog yet. But that back to the dialogue. It's the dialogue and the connection with people that I love about you, and I remember hanging out now, is that you have that, and some of y'all have it. It's that ability to talk to and connect with people of all kinds. I'm convinced that's part of the gifting, but it's a developed skill. Social, emotional intelligence, to me, equals spiritual intelligence and relational intelligence and connection intelligence and emotional intelligence. And to be able to put that together, you are one well-rounded mofo.
Whoa.
So I would.
Thank you. It's hard for me to take compliments, but I will.
I mean
take that one. I enjoy people that, like you're describing. I enjoy people that can walk into a room and can size it up. I enjoy people that can talk to anybody and immediately be at their level. I call that a high social IQ.
Yeah.
And
like that.
Folks that can walk in and kind of size the room out and kind of figure things out and just take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, I love hanging out with people, but I am so private.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how much I enjoy getting up at dawn and just driving somewhere.
Nice.
Where am I going to find a nice dawn?
Mm-hmm.
Or where am I going to, at the other end of the day, where am I going to find a nice
sunset?
And it's just my zen. It's I am in the moment.
That's cool. So you could go either way. Well, and I think the social thing is as an acquired skill too. You're not just born with that. You can acquire and get better at a lot of skills, including getting good with people. And I think it starts when you say reading the room. I hear, I'm going to get out of my head and I'm going to go participate joyfully with my main man, Jose, and hang out and at least say hi. He's across at Old Town. And I don't know any of these guys, but I know that guy. And he'll be glad to see me, even if it's for 30 seconds, to high five and a hug and, whatever, what are you up to? And so I think that's the stuff, maybe that's the beginning of the stuff of the reclamation of what we were talking about earlier, of the division and the us and them Pink Floyd song.
Oh,
it's all us and them, man. It's, if it wasn't for you guys being weird, we would be okay. And I think that headspace needs to be dispelled. Joni and I call that getting curious.
Getting curious.
Let's get curious. What's that guy thinking? Oh, they're different politically, sexually, racially, economically, fashionably, and what's up? Let's chat. We're good. We're good. And okay, that was weird, and that's okay. And I was weird for you. And it's all good, but unless we take that risk,
and it is a risk,
build half of the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? We might as well just go monk it up and go pray in the hills or something. Whatever that, go in a dark room and be alone with our fear, shame, and guilt friends that are ever present, sadly. But we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about photography. If you're just joining us, my new best friend, Jose Quesada, freelance photographer who happens to be published a lot in the Time Standard.
There you have it.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, they have let me given me an entire page for the last almost 6 years. Every Saturday, they give me an entire photo gallery page. So I've been able to cover so many aspects of Humboldt County, even during COVID.
Wow.
Now, that was a challenge because there weren't very many events and stuff. But it was still every week I'd come up with a gallery. That's my favorite part of my photography, my freelance photography, is being able to choose whatever I want. And they let me cover it.
I like it. I like the way this says this. Jose Quesada has played a vital role in shaping the Time Standard's identity and enriching its storytelling.
Is that what A1 is saying?
Well,
I mean,
somebody said.
artificial intelligence is saying?
I like this, and this is probably true. His work serves as a bridge between the past, present, and future. Okay, that's cool. Preserving the essence of life in Humboldt County for generations to come.
Oh,
wow, that's a
my.
pretty tall order.
Yeah.
You do all that? I thought you just shot
I feel like I'm eating a fortune cookie.
Thank you, AI, for the cookie.
It's that's very sweet. But do you remember what was her name? Linda Goodman's astrology book and stuff, and there were all these generalizations about your sign.
Today
and stuff.
you will
and
breathe.
Or
There.
you happen to like order more than disorder.
Right.
Like real insights like that.
You're going to meet people today, and it's going to be something.
They may be able to change your life if you are open to it. But one thing I was going to say that I didn't want to forget saying that you were describing talking with Johnny and curiosity.
Yeah.
But one thing that came to my mind is that I believe creativity, and that also comes with photography, and what you're choosing is having an open mind.
Mm.
People with an open mind are more apt, in my opinion, people with an open mind are more apt to be accepting.
Yeah.
Of different things. Like, okay. And in photography, if you have an open mind, you don't necessarily have to frame, my photo has to look like this postcard or has to look. No, the challenge in photography is how can I get a different perspective that not everyone sees? How can I get something that does not just look like a postcard?
Right.
So that's really the challenge. Now, photojournalism is a little bit different because you're just documenting. In photojournalism, I go for the moment. I can't stand posing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, will you take a picture of me? I will say yes, and then I could take a picture, and
I think you've done that with me.
Yeah.
How many times?
I take a lot. No, but I post yours.
Yeah. Oh, do you? Okay. Yeah, sure.
No, that's different. No.
Click.
No. The other thing with photography is this has happened a little bit more lately, which is people just come up to me and they go, "What are you doing?"
Huh.
I go, taking photos. Why?
Huh.
And then I get, depending on the mood that I'm in, I will never be insulting to any of
You don't have a press badge at this point.
Sometimes I do have but sometimes I don't have it on. So it's in my car or whatever. And,
So you get
or
interrogated.
it's under my jacket.
What's up, man? What are you doing here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are you taking pictures of? Why are you taking pictures?
Huh.
And I'm going, and I just try to say, well, because I want to.
Yeah.
And so, well, because it's my right. So when I finally start, it's my right to say, well, who are you doing it for? Saying, well, I'm doing it for different people. I'm freelance.
And this is them getting curious.
Well, it's them
sort of attitude.
Fear.
Fear curious. Yeah.
Oh, no. It's all based on fear. It's like, okay, so are you like, what I think is happening is like, are you Big Brother? Are you the government?
Sure.
Are you are you taking pictures of me? And a lot of people are so egocentric as to think that, oh my gosh, if they take a picture of me now, CNN is going to put it on.
Right.
That night.
Right. Although I have 10,000 on my Facebook page every night.
Oh, gosh.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
But it's like, anyways,
So dumb.
but it's dealing with other people's fears and stuff. And I'll always be respectful, but
Sure
it's like, but that happens a lot in photography. And these days is the distrust. I'm going like
crazy.
It is. I go, well, don't you realize that every single person here has a little camera on their phone?
Yeah. And you use yours on the regular and no one ever asked you about that. Hey, I got a great idea. Ready? It's time in the show where we win you one of these, an Emery board from State Farm.
An Emery board?
Yeah. And a Dutch Brothers coffee. Do you drink coffee?
Yes, my God.
Well, it could be your lucky day.
Do I drink coffee?
So we're going to talk to you about first question. Question number one, Jose Quesada for all the money. Top 3 stories of a photo journey that went crazy, an event where you saw something pretty wacky, pretty wild, pretty out of the normal.
I'm covering a gunman who is holed up in his house in Fortuna.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to give props to Mark McKenna, who gave me the courage. Like, this is how you deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
You're a photojournalist. So anyways, I'm in Fortuna covering this, and I'm going, they're not letting me in. I can't get close to anything. And all I want to do is get a shot of cops close to the house. I just want something, an image I can take back. And so, again, Mark McKenna kind of showed me, like, sometimes you can take another way to get to what you want to do.
And Mark's a photographer as well?
Yes. Mark McKenna, he's a longtime photographer. He's a professor at Humboldt State now.
Right. Okay.
And he does a lot of work for a Lost Coast Outpost, I believe.
You meant to say Cal Poly.
I went to Humboldt State University.
I like it. That's what I do, old school. It's Humboldt State. Don't worry about it.
So anyways, I'm going to go around the block. I'm going to go up through this field. I'm going to go up from the back of the house. There's nobody here. And I'm going right on. I go right. And I'm walking about 40 yards in this field, and around the corner are about, a dozen. A dozen is a lot. It was a lot of these cops in full SWAT
regalia
with their guns pointing at me.
Oh, no.
Get out of here. What are you doing? I'm like, whoa.
my camera.
Well, I got a picture of him. I said, okay, all right, I'm going. But I went click.
Crazy.
If you're there at the moment, you gotta take it.
Yeah.
You gotta take it. And so I did. So I got a picture of a SWAT team with their guns up and stuff, this is what it would look like,
Did they all do this?
Yeah. We're on video now, aren't we? Oh my gosh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the video's right up here.
No, they were a little upset at me, but I did have my press pass then.
And they didn't arrest you or shoot you, so that's good.
No, but they did order me out, but I got my shot.
Yeah. Kind of a little war zone deal.
It was, I got shot. I got a shot of cops waiting, with their guns up and stuff. But again, it's just the image that I'm going for, so people have an idea
what's going on,
and this is kind of what it looks like.
Good.
I can fast forward to last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I was taking pictures of the No King demonstrations. The newspaper will ask me if I will take a photo. Of being freelance, I can say no.
Sure.
But I said yes. And I said, sure, I'll take what they call a standalone. Just give us a standalone.
Sure.
And so I go there and I take a few pictures, one that they'll use for a standalone. And as I'm leaving, I was parked on the side street facing the courthouse. I believe that is H-I-J Street, I believe. And it is J Street. And facing the courthouse. And I was leaving. I was saying, I got my pictures. And as I was leaving, the demonstration was still full force. I turned right and I realized there is no car in front of me. And I look in my rear window and my rear mirror, and I see the crowd of what was an empty street at that moment converge onto Highway 101.
Yeah.
And so I went, oh my God, I am the only car on this road. I have a camera. And I have a ladder in the back of my truck.
That's right. You carry your ladder.
Oh, yeah.
You had that at
when you're only 5'10".
Kinetic race.
When you're only 5'10", you're lying because you're really 5'9".
That's right.
But it's, I need my ladder. But anyways, it was such a unique opportunity saying, oh my God, they have just closed US 101.
And you got a nice aerial of that.
I got on top of my ladder.
Time Standard ran that photo, I think. I saw.
Front page.
Colorful.
Because it's a real weird angle because you're able to get a lot more depth.
Because you're right on the highway up and down.
Yeah. And then I realized there were two cops that were looking at me on side streets.
Right.
They left me alone. Eureka Police Department did a magnificent job.
Heard that.
Magnificent
EPD,
job
shout out.
Keeping the order.
Captain Brian Stevens, man.
I stopped my truck in the middle of US 101, pulled out a ladder, took a picture, put the ladder back in, and they left me alone. Of course, I noticed them afterwards. I don't know.
They probably know you. Brian would know you.
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, you're at enough events. Okay, question 2.
I'm a yakker.
Surprising, embarrassing, crazy event besides, being Jimmy Olsen Cub reporter out at Old Town, what
Embarrassing?
what went really
Covering-
well or poorly or
something that went weird?
something really surprising? Was there
Something that went weird.
Well,
Well, I've got to say that when I was covering the occupation at Cal Poly Humboldt,
right?
a little over a year ago, about 15 months ago.
So you were on campus during that.
I was covering for New York Times.
Rad. Okay.
I was covering. I got 3 days of coverage in New York Times, but as did I believe a couple. There might have been another. But anyways, when I was there, the day after the police raid, the day I was there before and taking everything before, and I spent the night in my car waiting for the raid that I knew was going to come. And sure enough, I was sleeping when it happened because they did it like at 3 in the morning.
Really late, yeah.
And so the next morning at 7, I got up and I started walking to the campus, and the cops would not let me in. And at the time, I wish I would have known what I know now, because I asked them, has this been declared a crime scene? Because I knew enough that if it had not been declared a crime scene, they really can't stop me from going in. It's public. And they hesitated, they hemmed, they hawed. And frankly, it's like you pick your battles. I'm going, well, it's not like it's going to be the end of the world if I don't get this picture.
Right. And these guys have been up all night.
And these were the Arcata police. These guys were local.
But they're cooler, yeah.
Yeah, well, right, but no, I was covering, and the police covering, they were not local. They were from out of the area.
Oh, there was hundreds.
It was ugly. It was ugly.
These guys came from all over the state.
But the guys were local. I'm not gonna hassle them, but I did take my time leaving. They escorted me out, but I would stop and take a picture, and they would let me. They gave me their names, they gave me their badge numbers, which they're actually obligated to do. But you kind of let it go. But that was kind of creepy. I wish, Scott, that I would have held my ground, because I had a New York Times lawyer I could have called at that moment, but it was just like I was being flush with all kinds of things. Yeah. So that was a weird photography moment for sure.
So you got to be on your feet at all times.
You got to be at your feet. You got to be respectful, especially with kids. You got to be respectful.
Sure.
With kids, I will sometimes either do one of two things: take the picture, because it's got to be candid, and then go get the permission from the parent. And if the parent doesn't like it, which it doesn't happen very often, I delete it in front of them.
Got it.
And or if I go to schools, I always go to the principal's office. Okay, which kid can I?
That's cool.
You got to have that respect. You got to have that.
With you on that. The last question. You got a whole day to take Heather to do whatever you want to do in Humboldt. I write the check. You go do it. What are you going to do for 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.? Eat out the whole 9. Go. This is for all the money, by the way. This is for all the coffee beans.
We're talking a lot of coffee beans here, right?
There could be a lot in here.
Well, I tell you, I would start the day helping Heather at the stables. At the horse stables. That's how I start my mornings. I'm earning my mucking merit badge.
I bet you are.
and then go to Gill's by the bank.
Nice. And
have really good breakfast there. And then what we'd like to do is go to the casino after a Saturday night. It's like Sunday afternoon and stuff. We'll go in.
Nice.
Because we figure that all the losers have put their money in and we're going to win big.
Oh, I see.
So we'll do that. But we only take $20, put $20 in. And
how's that working so far?
We have done pretty doggone good.
Good.
We have done pretty doggone good.
Nice.
That's a whole nother set of stories. And then take our dogs, our 2 kids. We don't have kids, but we've got our 2 dogs, a 15-year-old and a 2-year-old. Take them to the river.
Nice.
And probably have a couple of beers there. She won't drink, but I will. And then go to the Bembo Inn.
Man, you got a whole thing. I like it.
Have dinner.
Winner.
But you know what? I'm going to be drinking Dutch coffee coffee beans the entire time because it's going to keep the Dutch Brothers coffee.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner chicken dinner. So while you shoot a photo of Dick and I, if that's okay with Dick,
absolutely.
Can you answer me one last question? Not last. What do you want to be remembered for, Jose? What's your legacy, celebration of life, tombstone if you got one? What would you?
When I moved to Humboldt County, I was 17 and I fell in love. I was 19 and I fell in love with Humboldt County, and I was kind of poor. I hitchhiked my first couple of years here and stuff, and I always said, God, I hope I can stay here.
Huh.
And to me, even though I'm proud of the 30 years work that I did with economic development and workforce development, and proud of the work that we did, I tell you, Scott, living in Humboldt County and being able to photograph somewhere that is so content rich, and I mean from the nature to people.
Yeah.
We are so rich.
It's true.
I want to be known as, hey, that's the guy that documented Humboldt County.
He saw it.
Yep. Oh,
he helped us see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it, man. Like a guide.
Yeah. I just rediscovered that I've got about 15 years worth of photojournalism photos that I have not even opened since they were published.
It's a collection, bro.
Anyways, thank you, Scott.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
You want to shoot a photo of me while we
absolutely
sign off? So I'll let you shoot while I just keep talking. Hey, thanks for joining us, 100% Humboldt podcast with my special best friend who's actually shooting the photos.
Where's your partner?
Oh, there's Dick over there. Shoot Dick if he wants it. And would you like us? Would you come and visit us on YouTube and all these socials and make comments that are positive, hopefully? And come on back next week where we're going to talk to you about the movers and shakers and difference makers in Humboldt County on the 100% Humboldt podcast with your new best friend, Scott Hammond. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you, brother.
You're the dude.